A&M in white going right to left. Texas in dark, left to right. Vern Heimbinger and Richard Smith are the CWPA officials for today. Heimbinger is the head ref. Now time for players to watch. For Texas, keep an eye on goalkeeper number 1, Collegiate Champion, who has been named All-Conference a couple of times. Ryland Scott, the goalie for Texas A&M, is also a player to watch. So A&M in white going right to left, and will be Aggie possession. That's number 10, Emily Mann, with the rock. The sidelines, you might see yellow and red tape. Yellow is 5 meters, red is 2. Already inside the Longhorn end, and will be turned over to Texas. The Longhorns went 3-0 yesterday, each of the wins featuring double figures. 13-3 over Rice. Might have been 14-8 over Texas State, and at least 11 in a win over Texas A&M B. And Texas strikes first. And I heard 5 dark. That might be Heather Graham who gets on the board for the Longhorns. And a minute into the game, 1-0 Texas. And it will be offensive foul called on A&M, Texas ball. Another thing to watch, Texas A&M has held opponents to 9 goals or fewer in 76 consecutive division games. Texas was the last team to score 10 on A&M. That was back on February 9th, 2013, a 10-6 win by the Horns over the Aggies. That's from distance. Out of play it goes. Goal throw for Ryland Scott. So our first few minutes of the game, it's Texas in dark with the lead. And there's another offensive foul called on Texas A&M. And now here come the Longhorns, coming off a 3-0 day here yesterday, as that is another turnover by Texas. It's about 4.5 minutes to go in the first. Now, yesterday marked the first time the Longhorns scored 10 or more goals 3 times in a day since March 25th, 2017. We will be having our first power play of the game. And it'll be Texas A&M on the 6-on-5. Should any player receive 3 exclusion fouls, she will be disqualified from the contest. So now you see the perimeter passing. Now from the left side, now close to the right flat. You get 20 seconds per power play. Shot clock is 35 per possession. And what a stop there for Champion. Okay, lead Champion able to puff her chest out. Now the Longhorns out on attack, left to right. So we have gone at least 3 minutes into the game. Ordinary foul from 5 meters. We'll take it from distance. And how about Ryland Scott with one hand? Texas A&M coached by Axel Rodriguez, assisted by Tyler Timms. Steve Roberts is at the helm for the Longhorns. 3:50 to go in the first. Aggies on their second power play. And we might be having some difficulty showing you some of the action due to the angle. And shots over the target. Haley Champion, the junior, will have the goal throw. Texas has been held to 9 or fewer goals against A&M in 17 straight non-exhibition meetings. Now from the right side, will fire, and it's hook 'em horns early on. And the Longhorns off to a good start right now, with under 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Texas won a regular season meeting last year, 5-4. A&M won the second regular season meeting that taken place last year, 8-7. And it will be an ordinary foul, Texas ball. Aggies defeated Texas State and Texas A&M B yesterday, albeit the win over Texas A&M B, a 5-0 forfeit per league rules. Aggies now up with it. Now to the right flat, going right to left, and White under 3 minutes to go in the first. Set for the hole. It will be another 6 on 5 for the Aggies. Taken up top now to the left side, back up top. It is overthrown. Now to the left wing. Back now to the right flat. Close to 15 seconds left in the shot clock. Shot fired, and Champion again will dive to her left this time. Texas A&M number 22 in the CWPA polls. That is at the hole, will fire. How about Ryland Scott? It had some top spin onto it, and she had her eye on that ball the whole time. Keep this a 2-goal game. Approaching 2 minutes or so to go, or less in the first, and already the 4th power play opportunity for Texas A&M. It will be tipped out of play. It will be a 2-meter from the right wing for A&M Aggies of College Station. Wind howling here in Houston. Good news is the boil water warning had been lifted yesterday afternoon. A few days ago, there had been a water main break not too far from here. Will be even strength. Now on the right side, trying to dip near the hole. And yet, the 5th power play now. Believe that's Heather Graham, the excluded player from Texas. About a minute or so left here in the first. Wow, Kaylee Champion for sure. One of the leading stars of this one. Last year, Champion was 2nd team all-conference. 3 years back, I think 1st team all-Texas division. Will be even strength now. Will be fired to the right side, denied by the crossbar. And now, we're in the waning moments of the first. 2 goals by Texas in dark and Texas A&M A. Doesn't give up a lot. But right now, still without a score. And now Texas has its first power play. And will be turned over to the Aggies. And a nice crowd on hand here at the Gibbs Recreation Center on the campus of Rice. 2 seconds. And that is a really good start to the Lone Stars Showdown. University of Texas Longhorns in dart. Gets a couple of goals early on, while Texas A&M A has yet to enter the scoreboard. 50th meeting between Texas and A&M A. It's the Longhorns in dart 2. The Aggies in white 0.
And here's this week's goalie tip of the week. Today we're going to take a look at attacking a front court offense when you have a right-handed player at the left-handed wing. And one of the things that we want to think about as goalies is always honoring the shooter, but also thinking a half a step ahead of them. So when you have a right-handed player at a bad angle down on this side of the pool, instead of honoring them at the perfect geometric angle here, we can cheat back and still honor the shooter. Because if I'm here and he makes a pass across the field of play, I'm hung out to dry. And so instead, I'm going to cheat off of him a little bit geometrically to here. Now you can see my body's still honoring him. I'm not here or on my back. My shoulders are squared to the shooter. But if I'm in a game situation now and he makes the pass here, I'm set on the shooter. Whereas if he shoots, my body is still balanced to make the save. For more goalie tips, check out Collegiate Water Polo Association's video library.
The CWPA YouTube channel is your #1 video source for everything water polo. Check out our Tip of the Week series, Inside Water Moments, Highlights, Game of the Week, and more. Visit www.youtube.com and search CWPA Water Polo. Unranked Texas out to a 2-0 start with a couple of goals in the first quarter. A&M had great opportunities, 5 power plays, and Kaylee Champion each time stifled the Aggies. Champion, the junior goalkeeper for Texas. Interesting to note, Texas and Texas A&M, I believe, have combined for 15 division titles. However, neither the Longhorns or Aggies have ever won an opening round National Collegiate Club Championship game. Also, this division has not won an opening round NCCC contest since 2006. That was Rice over Carleton, 8-4. Aggies win the tip to begin the second quarter, going right to left and white. Aggies need to get going now, because right now Texas is all over the ball. Champion, a stellar performance as of now. The first ever meeting all time in this series. March 4th, 2001, A&M defeated Texas 11-3 at Sterling High School in Baytown, Texas. Now to the right side, it's an ordinary foul. Shot clock, about 10 seconds or so. We'll launch it out of play. Lyman Scott will have the goal throw for the number 22 Aggies. Number 1 in the poll right now is Florida. Preseason number 1 UC Davis. Number 12. Its lowest ranking, maybe forever. UC Davis a couple of weekends ago went 2-2 at a Sierra Pacific tournament at Fresno State, which you saw here on CWPATV.com. And Texas has been all over the Aggies right now. Longhorns in good shape. And in this series, 2-0 might be safe. Because 17 times this series, the winner had 6 or fewer goals. 12 times in which the teams combined for 9 or less. Now from distance, it's Scott able to get her right hand to deny it. About 6 minutes to go in the first half. Texas in dark 2, A&M in white, still searching. Keep in mind the average combined goal total in this series per game is a little under 13. Now to play, it will be a 2-meter for Texas A&M. So we approach 5.5 minutes to go in the quarter. This is our first of 3 games of the day. Last game of the tournament for Texas. A&M scheduled to take on Rice in a couple hours. Time running out here on the shot clock. Aggies had a deflected shot there, and Collegiate champion right now. It's been a busy lady in the pool, I'll tell you that. Now it's Texas going left to right. And that will be wet and secured by Scott of Texas A&M in white. Axel Rodriguez, the head coach for Texas A&M, has won Coach of the Year in this division in each of the past 2 seasons. In fact, Texas A&M has taken 5 Coach of the Year honors in division history. Takes the shot, and it'll be a goal throw for champion. So in terms of all conference, Texas has 43 first team all conference honors, A&M 46. Second team, Texas 36, A&M 37. So had a lot of good players over the years. It's going to be a 5-meter free throw for the Aggies. Oh no, for the Longhorns, pardon. Texas. Now 4 and change to go in the second. As Ryland Scott will take it. We'll take the denial there, actually. It's Scott coming up large. Not surprised that that was denied, because both of these keepers are going to battle for that Texas Division first team all-conference goalie spot. Ordinary foul. How about that? At least a 6 on 5 of the first half for Texas A&M. Texas does have a loaded roster. Egg-beater motion inside, trying to pop it to the left. Wet pass, overcharged. Officials looking at the clock. Should be even strength. We'll take it, and that's over the prize. Again, it will be Collegiate champion with the goal throw. Heather Graham, number 5, was honorable mention for CWPA All-America for Texas last year. Graham has been involved on offense a little bit today. And that'll be another offensive foul charge to Texas. A&M, though, now halfway through this second, still without a goal. This is a game where 5 or fewer combined goals would not be a surprise. There's one game so far this division season that was decided by a goal. Texas A&M defeated Rice in Game 3, 5-4. A&M led 5-2 entering the fourth, conceded 2 quick goals. It wasn't enough. Battle for the ball. Ball under, I think, charged to Texas, and we're already dribbling away. Right to left. Bit overcast and windy here in Houston. Texas 2 in the first, 0 in the second. Aggies, well, they still need to get out that fishing pole for the first fish. Texas right now playing its best game as of late. Least amount of goals Texas gave up last year, 1. 8-1 win over Texas A&M on February 2nd, 2019. Also had a 13-1 win over A&M in the Texas Division Championship a year ago. 1:20 to go in the first half. Timeout, Axel Rodriguez and Texas A&M A. This is a dandy right now. Texas in dark 2. Texas A&M A, the number 22 squad. In white, 0.
Cap 7 is a small company that started out of the back of our garages, and we were doing clinics and camps around the country. We pride ourselves as a company with Cap 7 and Turbo to sponsor as much and give back to the sport as much as we can. Last year we gave over $250,000 back to the sport, and all our products are built by water polo players and for water polo players.
The CWPA has a social media account focused on our club membership. Follow us today at CWPA Clubs for league news, schedule updates, and streaming info. That's at CWPA Clubs, the Twitter account focused on CWPA Club Water Polo. Scott Samuel David Weiss here on the CWPA Network. Free regular season streams courtesy of Cap 7 and the CWPA. Texas 2. 22 ranked Texas A&M A and White 0. Both of the Texas goals scored in the first quarter. I believe April 18th and 19th. Texas Division action is scheduled to return here to Rice for the Texas Division Championship. Boy, right now the water rippled. And Texas A&M needed that break with about 1:20 to go in the quarter. As it's been the Collegiate champion show in front of the cage for University of Texas. Takes the shot, and it's still the champion show, starring the junior Collegiate champion. It's Texas in dark going left to right, and Texas A&M A and White right to left. Texas A&M A will take on Rice at around 1:30 p.m. Central. This will be Texas' last game of the tournament. That is from distance. That was beyond 5 meters. Out of play it goes. Goal throw for Ryland Scott. Texas A&M A misses the services of Michelle Hubbard, was the MVP last year. First team CWPA Club All-America. That's an offensive foul on A&M. Under a minute to go in the first half. Texas in dark 2, A&M A and White 0. And I'd say this is not a surprising score, but maybe if you're an Aggies fan, that the Aggies haven't scored yet. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the first half play, and this is as advertised. 14 minutes in the books. Texas 2 in the first, 0 in the second. A&M nothing through 14 minutes. It's Texas in dark 2, Texas A&M A and White nothing yet. The 50th installment of the Lone Star Showdown is a beauty so far. And now we will send it over to a Cap 7 tip of the week.
Hi, I'm Jack Bowen, and here's this week's goalie tip of the week. Today we're going to work on the high corner lunge for the goalkeeper, but we're going to focus on one specific thing that often gets overlooked. What we're doing with our hands to get us up and out to the corner. So we're going to go through a set of 4 sets of 2, and each set's going to progress. We're going to start out, the first 2, the goalie's going to have his hands out of the water. This is actually going to show you how important your hands are to getting you up and out to the corner. Then the next set of 2, we'll take our lead hand out, and what I want you to look for there is the big wall of water, the explosion you're getting from your trailing hand. And then we're just going to flip it. You'll actually have your shot blocking hand in, and that hand is still helping you to get up and out of the water. And then we'll put it all together for 2 good corner lunges, both hands doing what they need to do. For more goalie tips, check out Collegiate Water Polo Association's video library.
Hi, I'm Wolf Ligo, co-founder of Cap 7. I'm going to talk about the Cap 7 skip ball. It's a great little ball for kids to play with for a number of reasons. It's soft, bounces really well, just a lot of fun. While being a great training ball for goalkeepers, this ball can also be used for field players. There's a great drill where you space out pretty far, pass the ball, skipping it, and one of the advantages of this.
And welcome back to the Lone Star Showdown, game number 8 of this Texas Division Regional Tournament. It's Texas and Dart 2, Texas A&M A and White 0. Scott Samuel David Weiss here on CWPATV.com. So far, it's Kaylee Champion pitching the shutout in front of the pipes for University of Texas at Austin. Team swapped ends. It's A&M going left to right, and it's still Kaylee Champion being the toughest competitor to get one past right now. So 2 in the first, 0 in the second for Texas, and A&M still held off the board. Offensive foul called on University of Texas. It will be possession Aggies. After this game will be game number 9 at 12:15 p.m. Central. Texas State against Texas A&M B. Both the Bobcats and the Aggies B squad 1 and 2. Now the play that was deflected by Champion. So it'll be the 4th 2-meter corner. So already at least 6 power plays and 4 corners for A&M, and still nothing to show for. There has never been a shutout in this series. And it will be a 6-on-5 for the Aggies for at least the 7th time. Ordinary foul. And you get 20 seconds on the power play. Now to the right side. Egg beater took a little too long there. Now we'll have to go up top. We'll fire. That is blocked in the field. And it'll be a ball under foul. Boy, the Texas fans are really enthusiastic right now. Kaylee Champion having the game of her life right now. There have been times in which the losing team in this series has only put up 1. Early possession, Texas going right to left, will take the long shot out of play. Ryland Scott with the goal throw. Last time a team had 1 goal in this series was March 28th, 2015 at Texas State. Texas A&M won 6-1 over Texas. Kaylee Champion. About 2 minutes into this third. It's been impressive. That Champion wasn't even a student yet in Austin the last time Texas had a shutout in division play. It was on February 4th, 2017, 12-0 win over Rice here in Rice. Under 5 minutes to go, perhaps in the third. A&M right now just needs to score. Another save for Champion. In series history, 8 of the games have been decided by 2 goals. Right now that's the margin. Both of these goals were in the first quarter. And they were pretty quick. Maybe in motion. Horns will take the shot. Ryland Scott says nay nay. Texas' next game is scheduled Saturday, March 28th at 11:40 a.m. Central against Texas A&M at Texas A&M University. So Texas looking to improve to 4-0. A&M 2-0. Still has another game on the day after this one. Again, there are only 5 teams in this division since Baylor bailed a couple days ago. Haley Champion with it. I'd say Steve Roberts having one heck of a game plan right now. Axel Rodriguez's game plan is also superb for Texas A&M. Now the Longhorns set it up, will fire, and Scott denies it. In each of the previous 14 seasons, at least Texas or Texas A&M has captured either an MVP or Coach of the Year award, and Texas A&M finally finds the scoreboard and finds the net. And A&M close to the halfway point in the third quarter strikes for the first time, and it came in quarter number 3 from the corner and hit the corner out of the reach of Champion. So 2-1 is the score. Texas scored the first 2, both in the first quarter. And now A&M just got on the board moments ago. Texas in dark going right to left. Ordinary foul. Now from the left side, now up top. We'll take it from distance. Scott had it for a moment, and it will be possession Texas A&M. Maybe 3 or so minutes to go in the third. Far from over, ladies and gentlemen. And the Longhorns will pick up the pieces from mid-pool. Dribbling right to left is Texas. Ordinary foul from around 5 meters. About 16 on the shot clock. In the men's game, you get 30-second shot clock. Women, 35 seconds. And there will be an exclusion foul called on A&M. It will be the second power play opportunity for Texas. Longhorns missed a second quarter 5-meter free throw. Egg beater motion fired. Batted down there. And secured now by Ryland Scott. Couple minutes left in the third. Texas in dark 2. Texas A&M A in white 1. First of 2 regular season meetings. Did Champion actually save that? I'm not sure how she was able to get both hands on it. They had plenty of top spin. Boy, this has been a season with plenty of parity in terms of rankings in the CWPA. Texas A&M last week was number 19, now number 22. Of course, Texas A&M hasn't played this season until this weekend. Longhorns on the attack now, inside on the left, the lob. Out of play. Limited moments left here in the third. 2-1 Texas. This is not a typo. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the fourth quarter of a game that has seen 3 goals in 21 minutes. That's a goal every 7 minutes. 21 minutes in the books. It's Texas in dark 2, Texas A&M A in white 1. We have 7 minutes of regulation to go in this one. It is living up to the hype.
Polo suits. I probably have 10 of these suits in all different patterns and colors. They're fun, they work really well. I played in nationals against the China national team, with my club team, with the turbo suit. It's comfortable, you don't get those suit lines, but it's also durable. It lasts year after year, grab after grab, and the people aren't able to rip the suit. Just try. You can customize these suits with your team name, emblems on the back, or even special patterns or your own number. Try it out at Cap 7. Cap 7, you get up higher!
Hi, I'm Wolf Weiger with Cap 7. There's one more quarter to go in this game. Fourth quarter coming up now.
If the result of this game were to stay the same, this would be the lowest scoring combined game in series history, and it's the 50th meeting of all time between University of Texas and Texas A&M. This is the 49th that will count. Each Texas and Texas A&M have 24 wins in this series. Texas A&M has won each of the last two. Scott S.D. Weiss here on CWPATV.com. After this game, Game 9 will be scheduled to take place at around 12:15 p.m. Central. Circumstances permitting, will be Texas State versus Texas A&M B. But before that, we'll have to see if we'll have 7 more minutes of regulation or time added on. As the score is tied up, when the final horn sounds in regulation, we would have 2 3-minute overtime periods. Texas A&M in white going left to right, and Texas in dark right to left. 0 in the first, 0 in the second, 1 in the third for Texas A&M, 2 in the first, 0 in the second, 0 in the third for Texas. That is from distance. And Kaylee Champion again wants to make sure Texas A&M doesn't get anything else. Long outlet by Kaylee Champion to the left side of your screen and the left side of the Texas A&M end. Again, Texas has been held to 9 or fewer goals in 17 straight meetings that have counted. Texas A&M hasn't scored double figures in back-to-back meetings against the Texas Longhorns since 2013. Texas A&M's last meeting against Texas, April 14, 2019, the division title game. The Aggies won 10-4 in College Station, Texas. Texas A&M did not participate in last year's National Collegiate Club Championship. Texas did in its place and finished 0-3, tied for 15th. Lost to San Diego State, Colorado School of Mines, and Penn State. The losses to Mines and Penn State were by a goal apiece. Aggies now trying to get the equalizer with a little bit under 6 minutes to go. Trying to pop, lost it momentarily. Turns it over. Here's number 15 in dark, Anna Lang, the junior. Lang, first team all-conference last year. And proved it that time. Forced the ball under. Now from the flat. Ordinary foul though. Called by Richard Smith. Boy, if you're Axel Rodriguez right now, I would say don't change anything on defense. For the Aggies. Advantage rule being called now. Axel Rodriguez will call timeout. 4 minutes 44 seconds to go in regulation. Texas in dark 2, Texas A&M in white 1. Full timeout. Texas A&M. We're actually going to stay there. Don't forget, Cap 7 is the premier water polo provider specializing in all your water polo needs. Visit cap7.com to find the gear you need to take your game to the next level. After all, Cap 7 is a proud sponsor of the CWPA network, now providing free regular season remote broadcasts like the one you are enjoying now and the initiative to help grow the sport. It's Texas in dark 2, Texas A&M, the number 22 team in white 1. So 2-0-0-0 in terms of scoring for Texas, 0-0-1-0 for Texas A&M A in white. 4:44 to go in the fourth quarter, and Game 9 is scheduled to take place after this one, pending the circumstances, at 12:15 p.m. Central, Texas State and Texas A&M B. By the way, this is not the only regular season meeting between the Longhorns and Aggies this season. They'll face off again the weekend of March 28th and 29th at the home of the Aggies in College Station, Texas. Texas A&M now with the ball, 1-goal deficit. More fans want to get in on the action. That's going to remain with the Aggies. There was an ordinary called. The shot clock will remain the countdown. About 4:20 to go in the game. Close to the hole. Will fire. Gets past champion. That might have been number 9 in white. Lauren Kenny, the senior. Big goal for her. 2-0 run for the Aggies. It's Texas in dark 2, Texas A&M in white 2. With 4 minutes to go in the game. Both A&M goals scored this half. It was 2-0 at halftime, 2-0 after 1 in favor of Texas. Longhorns have gone cold since the first few minutes of the game. However, third power play coming up for Texas. I think Steve Roberts wants to talk it over with his troops, and don't blame him for that. You had a 2-0 lead for a good part of this game. You gave up 1 in the third. You just had it tied up. Three and change to go in regulation. Texas in dark 2, Texas A&M A in white 2.
I am Wolf Lego, co-founder of Cap 7. I'm going to talk about the Cap 7 skip ball. It's a great little ball for kids to play with for a number of reasons. It's soft, bounces really well, just a lot of fun. Everyone I've ever given one of these to, random people, not even water polo people, they say it's the best ball. Their kid loves it more than any ball. Get yours at cap7.com today and enjoy your skipping.
It's 2-2, Texas in dark and Texas and A&M in white, with about 3.5 minutes to go in regulation. Texas has had at least 7 wins in each of the previous 4 regular seasons. In 2015, the Longhorns were 4-4 in the regular season, 6-5 overall, which was third. Texas A&M has had at least 6 wins in each of the previous 4 seasons. But the Aggies haven't had an unblemished regular season since 2015, the last time any team ran the table in this division. Now Texas on the 6-on-5. Goal will be huge here since the game is tied. Even strength now. Can't pop it yet. Not satisfied, and we're having something pop up on the screen here at an improper time. And we have gotten that situated. The camera was getting a bit excited. It wasn't sure this was the actual score. and was blinking, but you're not blinking, and oh no, you did not just do that. You did not just do that. Come on. Oh no, you did not. And right now, the camera got a bit too excited and did this a few times yesterday. It decided to get jumpy, and we do not have the feed right now. Hopefully momentarily we'll have it back for you. Hopefully we will be back momentarily. But right now we are offline, and we're trying to figure this out. Between Texas and A&M, I think we lost power. Hopefully we'll be getting it back momentarily.
Okay. Good? 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Yeah, exactly. Let's hope for the best. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no. Water. Thank you.
Hey, how are you? Good? Good.
Good news, we have the feedback, and I have some even more exciting news. 4 seconds left in regulation, tied game. Texas A&M ball, a chance to win with 4 seconds. If there isn't a goal, it will be the third ever overtime in series history. So, few seconds left. Take the shot, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 28 minutes are in the books. However, after 4 quarters, it is not enough. We are going to overtime in the 50th installment of the Lone Star Showdown. So we'll have a couple of minutes before we get to our first of 2 3-minute overtimes. So we're going to have 2 3-minute overtimes. And if we're still tied after that, sudden death. So when we come back, we'll have our first of 2 3-minute overtime periods between Texas and Dark and Texas A&M A and White. This is living up to the hype.
Hi, I'm Wolf Weigo, 3-time Olympian and co-founder of Cap 7. And today we're going to talk about when and when not to call a timeout and the strategies behind that. Timeouts are a critical part of the game, and being prepared can really help you maximize your opportunities. I found when calling a timeout, you have certain things prepared before the game. So maybe it's my best 5-on-6. So I've got my 5 players that I would want in the pool. If the other team calls a timeout, I'm ready to put those players in, bring out some of my players who might be better on offense, but weak defense, and I can get my best 5 players in, or my best 6 players if it's a front court. There wasn't an exclusion and there's a timeout, so I can be ready to make some changes. And similarly, if I'm calling the timeout and I have a power play, or if I'm running a play in the front court and I have certain players that aren't in the pool when I call the timeout that I want to run a specific play, then I'll have that handy, be able to look at it real quick and not have to think about it as I want to talk about other things and focus on motivating the team as well. So when using a timeout, a couple things to think about is it's not just about the play you're going to set up at that moment. You could talk about the motivation of the team, why they need to fight harder, why they need to press harder. So really getting the team motivated Some coaches will take the time to yell at a certain player or a couple players and really try and use that motivation to get the team fired up or make a point. You also want to let the team know what happens beyond the immediate next 20 seconds of the possession. So
28 minutes were not enough in the 50th installment of the Lone Star Showdown. Scott Samuel David Weiss, after 4 quarters, Texas in dark 2, Texas A&M A in white 2. Texas 2 in the first, 0 in the second, 0 in the third, 0 in the fourth. Number 22, Texas A&M A, had no goals in the first half, 1 in the third quarter, 1 in the fourth. We are going to overtime. Our first overtime game in this division in a couple of years. In fact, Texas A&M A has not been to overtime since April 24th, 2016. It was a 4-3 sudden death loss to Texas in the division title game at Texas Tech. It will be possession Texas in dark going right to left. So this is our first of 2 3-minute overtime periods. After we're done this one, we'll have a little break and then we'll swap ends for another 3 minutes. Out of play, and Texas still cold since starting off hot the first few minutes of the game. And now it's Texas A&M A going left to right. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had at points during the end of the fourth. Fortunately, we are back here for an exciting finish, and we did expect this close of an affair. And it will be an offensive foul charge to Texas A&M A. About 2 minutes to go in the first of 2 overtime periods, 2-2. There have been 3 meetings all time out of 48 previous that counted, which were 5 or fewer combined goals. Set, pops, out of play, but it will be a 2-meter for the Longhorns, and that's actually the first 2-meter for Texas. So play will resume on the A&M end for UT Austin in dark. And Texas A&M A comes up with the loose change with about 1.5 minutes to go in the first of 2 overtime periods. Now it's A&M that might be Emily Mann. Oh, did we just call a 5-meter? Boy, this is a critical part of the game to commit a foul. Texas A&M A has not led at all this game. This is for the lead. With close to 1 minute to go in the first OT. Takes the shot. Texas A&M is on top. Number 10, Emily Mann. Big one for the junior. On the 5-meter, and it's 3-2 A&M. And what has happened in the Longhorns that started the game 2-0 in the first few minutes of quarter 1? This would be a huge win for Texas A&M, which had nothing going in the first 17 or so minutes of the game. Kaylee Champion looked like she could have pitched a shutout, and Champion now will try to regroup and set up a goal. This is the 3rd overtime game ever in meeting in series history. This is the 50th all-time meeting, and Scott makes the save. Now there was a 4-4 exhibition tie back on March 26, 2017 at Texas A&M, but it did not count toward the standings. There were a minute left here in the overtime, number 1. Offensive foul called on A&M. Both of the previous overtimes went to sudden death. The last one was on April 24, 2016. Texas won 4-3 in sudden death. We're going to have a 6-on-5 for the Longhorns. And I think Steve Roberts will call timeout, and why not? You're down 1. You're in the closing part of the first overtime period. I think there might be 5 seconds left. So a couple of seconds left in the first overtime. We'll reset here. Texas 2 in the first, 0 in the second, 0 in the third, 0 in the fourth. None so far in the first overtime. Texas A&M 0, 0, 1, 1, and 1 in the first overtime. And there'll be another overtime to come after this. And if the score is still tied up after that, which is a possibility because this has always been a close series, there would be next goal wins sudden death, but that's if we're tied up after the second overtime as well. 36 of the last 48 meetings that counted this series have been decided by 4 or fewer. This could be the 37th. From distance! Out of play, and ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the first overtime. 31 minutes in the books. There'll be at least 3 more to come. Emily Mann, the junior, converted on the 5-meter free throw to give the Aggies their first lead of the game. Texas A&M in white is leading 3-2 with 3 minutes to go at minimum in this one, and we'll be back right after this.
Introducing our latest addition to the Cap 7 line of products. We have no number training caps. The great things about these caps are they're super high quality at an affordable price because we produce them in bulk. Now, if you look at the cap specifically, we have the up-to-date ear guard with the cap stringer holes so that the ear guards won't break. Check them out, cap7.com.
Entering our second overtime period in game number 8 between Texas in dark and Texas A&M in white. Texas A&M on a 3-0 run. All 3 goals in the second half. Texas scored the first 2 goals of the game. And junior Emily Mann, number 10 in white, gave the Aggies their first lead of the game for Texas A&M with a 5-meter free throw on Kaylee Champion, who did not allow a goal for more than half of regulation to begin the contest. Teams have swapped ends here in the second overtime period. We'll have 3 more minutes. If we're tied up after that, it will be golden goal, next goal wins, sudden death. There has never been an overtime meeting between the Longhorns and the Aggies that did not go sudden death. Both of the previous went sudden death. Texas won the last overtime meeting 4-3 in sudden death at Texas Tech back in 2016. Texas A&M defeated Texas in Texas Division Game 6 on April 16, 2005 at University of Houston, 11-10 in sudden death. So A&M in white going right to left, Texas in dark left to right, and the Aggies in control. After this game, pending the circumstances, Texas State versus Texas A&M B. Game 9 scheduled for 12:15. Takes the shot, and A&M extends the lead. Boy, just needed some late magic. And now Texas A&M on a 4-0 run with about 2.5 minutes to go in the second overtime. And Ryland Scott has just been something else in this. After conceding the first 2 goals in the first 3 minutes of the games, nothing has gone past her. It's a whole different Ryland Scott right now. Now A&M against Champion. Oh, she did have a deflection. So it'll be a 2-meter for the Longhorns. No, actually the Aggies. Aggies now on the ball, up 2. About 2 minutes to go in the game, and it is an offensive foul. If Longhorns want to get back in this, you'll need to set up now. Good setup, though skips a little pass on the right side, gives some breathing room. Ordinary foul. And it looks like there was a delay called on A&M, so under 2 minutes to go. It's a 6-on-5 for Texas, and you're going to want to go quickly. But you need to find the ideal shot as well. You only get 20 seconds on the power play. Now dry pass to the left inside now, and the 2 fires, blocked down by Ryland Scott. Still, the possession remains with Texas. And I think there's another power play, maybe 6-on-4 for Texas. Now we'll pop, stop, pop, thinking, fire, a much needed boost for Texas. That looked like number 6 perhaps, or 8. Angela Floyd maybe, the senior perhaps. It's now 4-3 with maybe a minute or so left in the game. Texas not done yet. But A&M, though, needs to be careful. And ends the 4-0 A&M run. All 4 goals after halftime. First goal for Texas since the first quarter. Here in the second overtime. Ordinary foul. Maybe a minute left here. By the way, Texas has not lost an overtime game in division play since 2005. Good outlet now for the Horns. Trying to get the equalizer and make this game go longer. Even more. Lost control. Timeout. Called by Axel Rodriguez and Texas A&M.
So they took one in the first? Is there one per period? So what's the rule in our time? Is there one per period?
I think you get an extra timeout in overtime. That's a discussion at the scorekeepers table. Yeah, you get an extra timeout in overtime. So that will be the overtime timeout called by Axel Rodriguez.
So but what you should do as a UT coach in this situation is to call a timeout.
Now, if Texas A&M doesn't have any timeouts, I think a 5-meter would ensue for Texas. So for Texas, 2 in the first, 0 in the second, 0 in the third, 0 in the fourth, 0 in the first overtime, 1 in the second overtime. A&M 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 in the first overtime and 1 in the second overtime. There's only 14 seconds left. Boy, this is going to be such a difficult possession for Texas A&M. You're going to have players going after you. So right now, hold on.
Waited 2 seconds and start. Relax.
So I believe the shot clock's unplugged. Texas A&M, if it can hold on, a game in which looked like there was a chance the Aggies would get shut out, didn't score until the third quarter, didn't lead until the first overtime. The Aggies could win the third straight meeting over Texas. And what a game this was. We even missed a part of the fourth quarter due to technical issues. It's number 7, Alyssa Korber. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end for a thriller in the 50th installment of the Lone Star Showdown. And the first time ever that a Lone Star Showdown game went to overtime and did not need sudden death. It's Texas A&M winning for the 25th time in 49 opportunities over Texas. What a finish. The final score: Texas A&M in white 4, Texas in dark 3 in overtime.